Hello and welcome to RH Movie Recap. Today, I'll explain a film based on The Soldier Boy is the true story of World War II's youngest soldier. There will be spoilers ahead. Keep an eye out and be cautious. The film begins in Russia, where a family of 3 is relaxing by a river. Sergei Aleshkov, the youngest, is bragging to his elder brother and mother about being on top of a tree when German fighter jets fly overhead. The mother orders her children to quickly hide in the bushes, but the 6-year-old insists on striking the jet with a slingshot. To everyone's surprise, he hits the jets and blows them up. But when he looks around, he notices that his family has vanished. Sergei awakens terrified from his dream and calls out to his mother. Someone suddenly knocks on his door. He runs towards it, thinking it's his mother, but a neighbor woman comes in panicked. She thanks God for his survival and informs him that his mother and brother have died. The little boy is unable to understand what she is saying and wishes to remain in the house to await his mother. The woman informs him that Germans have attacked them and that he should flee. Suddenly, some soldiers approach their home. The woman forces Sergei to flee through the window, but she is killed before she can join him. The 6-year-old is now on his own, without family or friends. As Sergei flees the house, he notices his entire neighborhood burning behind him. He runs away from there, calling for his mother in vain. He ends up in the middle of the woods after running for a while. Because he is lost, the little boy begins to call for his mother to come and get him. He spends the night in the jungle. The next morning, we see him drinking water from a river as enemy soldiers approach. Sergei quickly hides inside the roots of a tree, knowing they are dangerous. When a snake approaches, he is startled but does not utter a word or flee. Sergei is terrified of the soldiers rather than the snake. The soldiers eat by the river and then leave, leaving Sergei to eat their leftovers for the night. The little boy, on the other hand, is exhausted by the end of the day. He hasn't eaten anything in 2 days and has been walking aimlessly. He stumbles as he limps but does not stop walking. While on his way, he comes across some wild berries and devours them. However, an explosion occurs behind him, catching him off guard. The boy becomes dizzy and begins to see someone approaching from behind him. Despite this, he stands tall and tells the person that he has a rifle and is not afraid. He limps forward but soon falls unconscious. 2 soldiers approach him while he is asleep. The action shifts to a Russian army base, where Commander Kuznetsov awaits his patrol soldiers. They arrive with the little injured and weak child. When the soldiers claim to be on his side, the youngster opens up and introduces himself. When the child shakes hands with the commander, the soldiers laugh, suggesting that he introduce himself as well. The soldiers are fond of each other, the small child, and circle him. They force him to drink water and eat. Even the cold commander takes care of the child. Sergei's wounds are dressed by a nurse named Katya, who is also taken with his personality. The child requests that she draw a tank on his wounds because he aspires to be a soldier when he grows up. Even the wounded soldiers communicate with the child and express their feelings. Sergei is enthralled by the commander's gun and his batch. After taking the bullets out, the commander also answers all of the little boy's questions and lets him play with his honorary pistol. Sergei displays the tank he drew on his stomach and brags about being a soldier himself. The boy is recovering quickly. The nurse Katya requests that the boy stay with the battalion, but the commander refuses, claiming that it will be unsafe. He prefers to send Sergei to an orphanage. Sergei occupied all of the soldiers' free time. Throughout the day, he is visited by a large number of people. They bring him food sent from their families far away and even let him use their binoculars. One day, a soldier approaches the commander and requests that the boy remain with the battalion. The soldiers have formed an attachment to the child and regard him as their own. His presence lifts the burden of war from their shoulders. The next day, the enemies attack, injuring many soldiers. A vehicle arrives to pick up Sergei and transport him to the orphanage. But the commander informs the child and presents him with a wooden honorary pistol as a gift. In turn, the boy hugs him, claiming that he is concerned for the commander's safety. The commander melts in his embrace and reconsiders his decision. He requests that Sergei remain with the soldiers as his son. That evening, the soldiers look for small soldier clothes for Sergei, who is overjoyed to be staying with them. Sergei is awakened by the commander and given the clothes. He puts them on and runs around like a real soldier. The others begin to refer to him as their little soldier boy. The Germans launch an air attack on the battalion as the child runs around. The soldiers rush Sergei to a safe location and fight the others. The number of injured soldiers is rapidly increasing. Sergei wants to contribute, so he brings water to thirsty soldiers. One of them requests that he raid. Because he has a bandage over his eyes, his family sent him a letter. The youngster wishes to assist but is unable to read. He takes the letter and begins making up the contents, claiming that the soldier's cow is safe at home. When the soldier declares that he does not own a cow, the others tell him to laugh and go along with the story. He reads everyone else's letters and cheers them up in the same way. Katya and the commander are seen conversing in the following scene. The two appear to be attracted to each other but refuse to express their feelings. Later, Sergei informs the commander that he is an orderly in the battalion and begins introducing himself as such. However, the boy witnesses one of the soldiers' stations being destroyed as a result of the attack. The commander instructs him to remove his hat in order to pay respect to the fallen soldier. The next day, he insists on a mission from the commander and is assigned the task of distributing the letters among the soldiers. He finishes his task quickly and even makes the soldiers dance for him. The next day, Sergei ventures away from the base with his binoculars. When he notices someone's leg moving from inside a haystack while he is playing with it, he rushes back to the battalion and informs the soldiers of his discovery. The soldiers are skeptical, but they accompany the boy anyway. When they get close to the haystack, they are informed that 2 German spies are hiding beneath it. The spies are apprehended, and the youngster is praised for his intelligence. The commander shows Sergei the legal documents for his adoption that night. He is now the child's legal father. Sergei is aware of the commander's feelings for Katya, so he invites him to confess to her. However, when they see her talking to another man, they incorrectly assume she is interested in someone else. The Germans attack the base once more. This time, Sergei lends his strength to the soldiers by supplying ammunition to the soldiers on the front lines, but the soldiers there order him to return to the shed because it is too dangerous outside. When he arrives at the shed, he sees the commander and others in a state of panic because the phone connection with the colonel has been lost. A soldier is dispatched to repair the broken wires. Sergei pursues the soldier and discovers that he has been fatally wounded. He asks the dying soldier how to repair the wires and then does it himself. The connection is restored, and more troops are dispatched. Everyone's lives are saved by the 6-year-old. We later see the commander and Katya conversing by the river. Finally, the commander confesses his feelings for her and asks her to be Sergei's mother. Katya is overjoyed, but before she can say anything, a soldier approaches them and hands the commander a letter stating that they have been ordered to leave the base. The next day, all of the soldiers, including Sergei, leave for their new base. However, they come across a minefield on their way, which blows off some of their vehicles. The commander is injured, and Sergei's close friend, the group's orderly, is killed in the explosion. He sobs and embraces the commander. They continue their journey to their new base while carrying the injured. When they arrive at the other base, they run into the commander's leader, the general. He, too, is impressed by the kid's ambition and compliments the commander on having such a bright child. The next day, their division receives a guard's banner, as does the boy. When the general hands him his badge, he promises to save his country. Their base is brutally attacked one night, and the commander is trapped beneath the ruins. Sergei weeps for his father and attempts to save him. He addresses the other soldiers, who, in the end, brings the commander out. The following day, Sergei approaches and while attempting to save the commander, his hands were injured. The child is now an indispensable member of the team. He has no family beside them and follows them wherever they go during the war. The film concludes with the regiment moving to a new base. A voice in the background tells us that he even fought in the Stalingrad battle and made it to Poland with the soldiers. He is now known as the world's youngest soldier, and the legendary story of his bravery has been shared with the entire world. Turn on notifications and subscribe for more videos like this. And leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for taking the time to watch.